Well, so it begins. We've become roaming yogis without a home today. We are remote on a sunny day here in Atlanta, drinking a cup of coffee and having our conversation about spirituality. Kind of where it all started. The beginning of it all was over coffee, having conversations. And then over time we decided to take it out to the mainstream, sell ourselves out, and we call this thing No Expectations, the podcast. And that's what I want to talk about today, is no expectations.
It seems fitting after recording 10 episodes to...
Again, no expectations.
No, none.
I think what we wanted to do when we set out to kind of brainstorm this podcast was have conversations that were unedited, that were unscripted, that were raw, and was the exploration of spirituality on a very simple and open level. And exploring all those things without the terminology, without without limitations, and without expectations.
Yeah, and making it a tangible conversation, relatable, and something that, I don't know, I often found spirituality to be the terms and the phrases to just kind of, sometimes I just felt so lost. Like, it was above my head.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of times, people, they want to start a spiritual journey, they want to start to educate themselves on those things, and they'll go to the bookshop and they'll pick up a book, yoga for dummies or Buddhism for dummies, and it's difficult to get into. They just struggle. There's so much. It's so weighty. It's so heavy, and it's hard to find their way in there. And that's what we're trying to here to help, is to kind of cut through all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just have a conversation. So it's going to be a challenge today. I'm going to be honest. We've got a lot of distractions going on around us.
A lot happening.
So we're going to see how this goes today.
Yeah. All right.
So we're back talking about no expectations. What are they to you, Jen? What's that like?
No expectations. I think that it is, I guess, if you look in terms of having expectations, is our experiences, things we go through, people in our lives, who we are. Our ego tells us that if this happens, then this might happen. So in order to prepare for that, make a plan. If you have an expectation, maybe you can control the outcome some. Maybe you can feel like you have some power in the future. And
our histories help create those expectations. Is it possible to live without expectations? Probably not. I think it's our daily lives are filled with things that we expect. If we go to the grocery store, we expect to find bananas there. I mean, this is a simple expectation, like based on our history of every time we went to the grocery store, there were always bananas. So we want that same kind of security in everyday situations, right? And so our mind wants to build these scenarios to protect ourselves, knowing based on our history, our past, that when we do this, this, and this is what we get.
Yeah. And, like having expectations is living in the future. It's
living in the future based on the past.
Yeah. A constant, like, ping pong, this happens, so let's think about this.
That seems hellish.
Yeah. It is. Right. I think the opposite of having expectations would be being in the moment.
Right.
Living
from a Buddhist perspective, we think about this creating expectations is a developing of the wanting mind, which is not something we should be creating. We want to be here, present in this moment, not thinking about all the things that I need.
Yeah.
All the things that fill me up or don't fill me up. And that becomes challenging, and it becomes a struggle. And I think a few ways to start to learn to accept your life as it is to think about limiting your desires. Mm-hmm. We've probably had this conversation in other episodes. It's like not everything you don't need to have everything all at once, or you don't need to have everything.
Yeah.
Just be content with the things that you do have. Separate your wants from your shoulds.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulds are just somebody else's expectations. Wants are your core values. Like, I want to sit and drink a cup of coffee and just enjoy myself, right? No expectations. Just see what happens. Open myself to new possibilities. Yeah. But by limiting all of that stuff that we don't need, doesn't that help us?
Mm-mm.
Yes?
Yeah. I mean, any tool that you, or resource, or thought process that you can use that allows you to reassess and be in this moment is going to make living limitless easier. Not easier.
Shedding desires. It's like, that's the point here. It's like, if you don't have if you're not chasing a bunch of stuff, it becomes a whole lot easier, in my opinion, to be present.
Yeah.
To your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also think that saying enough is enough. Like, what you have is enough.
Yeah.
And I talked about that in the blog post on noexpectations.me. Check it out.
New website.
In 8 ways to wake up a great person was look around at what you have and say, this is enough. This is all I need. I don't really need to have more. And don't complain about that you didn't get enough, or this, that you need more. Just be content with those things.
Yeah. It's so hard because there's always a need, or our physical needs, our human needs, but it's hard to draw the line of I've worked really hard for this job and this career. Yes, I want to get paid for it.
So that brings up a thought that I have had a lot lately. It's, do you eat food to take a shit?
Oh, okay.
Is that the purpose of eating?
No.
Right, it's not. So why do we think every experience has to have some outcome? I only work to get paid. Do I actually work because I enjoy it? Does it fill me up? Does it create community for me, where I experience things where I'm learning new things, challenging myself?
Yeah.
Or am I simply just showing up for a paycheck?
Well, there's some lifestyle sustaining too.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But if we boil down every situation into, I'm only doing this for this outcome, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
If you're simply just eating to take a shit, that's not what this is for.
Yeah.
And whether you're going to school, if you're going to school just to make passing grades, or are you actually there to learn?
Right.
Or are you there just to make passing grades so you can get a job to make money? And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like, let's pull that back and understand why we're doing stuff, being aware of it, and so we don't fall into those traps of, well, I do this and expect that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there where's the line drawn between having goals and challenging yourself to meet these goals? Like, can you have a goal without an expectation?
Yeah, I think, but we create a finish line and what that looks like for ourselves, right? It's so fine to have a goal, like if you want to complete a race, but what's at the end of the race? Is it a bunch of cheerleaders and your family at the end of the race, and they're like wrapping you in a blanket and giving you a trophy? Is that you creating this scenario of an expectation, or are you just finishing it?
Because
you're just finishing it.
Yeah.
So enough is enough.
Yeah.
As we sit there with a cup of coffee that's the size of our head.
It's it's worth it.
I think taking responsibilities for your own actions help kind of cut away the expectations, right? So you're not expecting somebody else to fill you up. Mm-hmm. Like, so back to the whole thing about the job. Like, I do the job because I want to do the job. I don't do the job because I expect my boss to compliment me and go, hey, Andrew, you did a really nice job today on this project, da-da-da.
Yeah.
I can't work with that. And, taking responsibility, owning each situation, and not blaming somebody else for it. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, I was expecting you to do this, and when you didn't do that, I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah.
So, owning it, pulling it back into yourself, And that kind of helps cut away some of that expectation.
Yeah.
What else you got?
When I was preparing for this topic, you see a lot of the phrase "no expectations, no disappointments," and it almost feels like an arrogance or like a lowering of standards in a way. So if you know, I remember the first time I came out to some people I was close to, that I was marking my life with a new mantra that was arrive every day without expectations. And I might have said it differently, but I remember the response I got was, lower your expectations, and that way you just setting the bar really low for you as a human or me as a friend. It was a very negative connotation. No disappointments can't hurt me.
Right. And I think no expectations is not giving up.
No, yeah. It's not lowering the standards. So
it's not just like, okay, I'm just going to see what happens here. It's just like not letting your mind create a scenario that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because at the end, maybe you will be disappointed, and then if you continue to build all of that stuff and you continue with your disappointment, then where are you? Mm-hmm. It starts to create something else, and something probably a little uglier and a more deeper level. I also want to think that you can't let others put expectations on you. Is that difficult? I think about all the relationships I have, whether they be personal or professional. Like I'll just for example from me for a professional standpoint, as a yoga teacher, there's a stereotype, there's a cliche of this is how you're supposed to be, right? Like people have this vision in their mind of what that looks like.
The physical, mental, like, energy-wise.
The way you speak, and most in a lot of experiences in my career as a teacher, it's people who meet me for the first time. They have this expectation: this guy's supposed to be super chilled out and mellow, and like just give me, like lean into all my aspirations and be super supportive. And when I don't do that, they get upset, and I don't meet their expectations. And they're like, well, this guy's horrible.
You're not like my other yoga teacher.
Right, yeah. This one guy, this other person, she was so sweet, and their expectations, and you can't be chasing other people's expectations because you'll always, that's impossible to meet that.
Yeah.
And so we have to think about those in our relationships, not letting other people offload that on us.
Mm-hmm. It's setting boundaries, I think, in modern terms, where everyone is on a mission to set boundaries, and as well you should be, and not letting other people put their expectations on you is a good boundary to draw.
I agree. What about us putting our expectations on other human beings?
As a mom, that one was hard. It was hard for me to recognize this is my expectation of my kids.
I'm sure it's a tricky bit. I don't have any children, but I'm sure it's a tricky bit in the fact that it's the balance between being supportive and creating an expectation, creating that
supporting, leading them and guiding them. Yeah, it's in a lot of ways, like, for so long as a parent, you are the one in control. And these situations where I would find myself with these expectations was like rubbing against the grain of my control.
My experience when I work with these student athletes is that they're at that point in their life, pre-teens, mid-teens to late teens, I guess, that they're not in control, right? They're in that place in their life where they don't have a lot of control over their life.
Yeah.
And they're in a program that's intense, high performance, a lot of effort being used to perform at a high level, a lot of money being spent by the parents. So this creates an immense amount of pressure on these student athletes to perform.
Immense amount of expectations.
Expectations, right? Like, I got to win this tournament, or I've got to do this, and if I don't do this, I'm going to disappoint my parents.
Or my coach. Yeah.
And what I keep coming back to them and saying is like, what's the worst that can happen if you lose the match, right? Well, I don't know.
I haven't lost yet.
Yeah, it's like, but there's all this anxiety that creates, and so you wonder, does the parent create that expectation for them, or did they build it? Did the child itself, did they create that expectation? And it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, as a parent of data point of 3, we I have 2 of my kids are athletes, and I see them wanting to get better at their sport. And as a mom living in an area where people spend a lot of money on their kids' sports, there's this expectation that if you're going to get good, then we're all in.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard not to have that expectation of a high performing student athlete child, because I mean, even with, I have a child playing in a U9 age bracket, under 9 age bracket. Highly competitive. Their parents are already looking at like D1. Yeah. Like, how am I going to get my kid to D1 school?
Right.
And I'm like, these are second graders. Right. Like, again, but that expectation is
again
passed down to the kids.
What are we? That's a different conversation, I suppose. But we can tie it in and say,
where's my rant card? I got one.
Yeah, the rant card. We didn't bring the mobile rant card. Again, are you feeding the child simply to put them on the toilet? Like, what's the point of this exercise? And that's difficult. So we think about that as children, as a mother. What about in relationships, like putting our expectations on other people? I know my experiences, I've been in relationships in the past where everything needs to be balanced and reciprocal, right? Like,
give, take, equal.
Right. And this one time I washed the dishes, so you should wash the dishes next time, It's kind of like this unwritten rule, and then somebody always gets upset about it, right? Because, this one time, and then it becomes an always or nothing. That's my favorite conversation, when it becomes an argument. I always do this, and you never do this. That always makes me laugh.
Every time I've used that one, my husband comes back with the receipts. That never works for me.
But I always say, if somebody says always, I say, I wish I could be that consistent.
These are people that, in a lot of cases, you live with, and it's hard not to have expectations when you're, the intimate details of these people. I mean, even if it's like a friend group, like the expectation that one person is in charge of all the get-togethers.
But letting them put that on you.
Yeah.
We have to be aware of that. And you can't let them do that, and you can't do that to them.
Yeah. I think the hard in this transition is helping others see you in the transformation. Like, when you set these boundaries. And maybe this is another day when we're not distracted by all the coffee shop goers. How to help those that you're in relationships with in a transformation when you've set a boundary.
That's a conversation about our own personal transformation first. Creating that awareness in ourselves. Like, these things, when we talk about through all of these episodes, all start inside of us.
Yeah.
And as we continue on our journey, our first inclination is to take the stuff that we instantly learned and apply it to somebody else.
Look what I got! Come join! Come!
Right?
It's so great over here. Yes.
But if we're still kind of processing it and working with our own reassembly, if you will, or reacclimation to ourselves, how can we apply this to somebody else? And so we're not quite there yet.
No.
But we need to have that conversation about our own spiritual journey, and then how that causes how that impacts our relationships.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we'll bookmark that for another day. Go ahead.
So from back to where it all begins, it's, if we think about it, as we start to create that ritual we talked about in our first episode, when we show up with no expectations, we sit down just for the sake of sitting. And we sit for as long as we need to sit, and then see what happens. It's not focusing on anything, not even at some point we stop focusing on our breathing, we just enjoy the sit. You'll really start to realize that it starts to overflow into other parts of your life.
Yeah.
And it starts to cut away at those histories that you have with yourself and with other people, and it's like, let me just open myself to the possibilities.
Oh, just open up. Yeah. I see living without expectations as a letting go process. And in that letting go, there is a freedom.
Yeah.
A freedom to really enjoy and appreciate everything. And, that takes us to gratitude, and then compassion and
forgiveness.
Yeah. It's all, they're all intertwined. It's not, all right, step 1, gratitude, step 2, it's a practice of all of these tools to...
And I will say that there is, in freedom, there is complications that come with that as well. It's like when you've been a caged bird for a long time in this old thinking, in this old mind, and you open yourself up and you really realize all of the things that are being provided to you, and you're grateful to them, and you think you're a bird flying free in the sky, and you want to experience the sky in its entirety. And it's impossible for a bird to fly the entire sky.
Yeah.
But we want to do that when we first get out there. And so I think give yourself that space to take that time using these tools that we talked about, like Jen said, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, focusing on those parts.
Yeah.
And see if that can help unlock that for you. And those first moments inside of like playing with no expectations, they start small.
Always.
Yeah. And then enjoy that, because it's going to be uneasy. It is going to be like, whoa, this is weird. What do you mean I don't have to game plan this whole thing down to like the minute? Let me see what happens.
Just see what happens. Just showing up and see what happens. I think that's the easiest and the best way to start small is if you can identify where you are putting your expectations on yourself or other people, and then just say, what's going to happen when I let go of this end result? And then just go. It sounds easy. It takes work. All of this takes work.
So I think we're going to wrap up from here from a breezy coffee shop morning. Thanks for listening to us and enjoy having you here. We've had fun with our journey with No Expectations. Make sure you check out our website, noexpectations.me. We've got Jen and I have been blogging away up there, all sorts of good information there. Make sure you follow us on social. Insta is No Expectations, the podcast.
Yeah.
I think we're on the Facebook as well.
The Facebook. Yeah, reach out. We'd love to hear from you if you want to reach out and, let us know what you think of the podcast so far. We've been doing this for 2 months now, so.
Yeah, with no expectations.
No expectations.
And we've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yep.